Well, here we are, Final Space, episode 7, and obviously spoilers as usual, but yeah, it's become so if you don't know, this has become a thing of Final Space where around about, just after the halfway point in the series, in each season, we have, a kind of shocking twist and that shakes up the dynamic of the group. So yeah, season 3 was no exception, and season 3, it was foreshadowed very obviously, actually, this time, which I'm going to talk about the goods and bads. So let's just get into it. So Ash dies. No, not Ash. Fox dies in this episode, and Ash, you know, her vision of the future from Invictus turned out to be true, and yeah, the way it happened. So let's just get into the plot on this one. So, Bolo has been taken over a bit in this episode because of the stab wound that he received a few episodes ago. And basically, his mind is almost completely insane, apart from one spark of sanity, which Gary and Co have to go on the Galaxy 2 to try and find this spark of sanity in order to essentially, regain Bolo's sanity. And yeah, and he rips his arm off at one point. Yeah, that happens. That happens. Also, towards the start of this episode, for some reason, Olin Rogers almost slips into almost not quite, but when Gary's talking at the beginning, Olin Rogers' performance. I don't know. It's just something a bit weird about it, and that's the fact that he almost slips into his tribal voice at the start of the episode, which, yeah, is a bit odd. Some of the dialogue is just like he almost slips into the tribal voice. But yeah, that was the only instance of that that I found that happened. But anyway, so in this episode, as soon as the Galaxy 2 enters Bolo's mind, Ash is taken away by Invictus disguised. He disguises himself he disguises himself as Bolo, first of all, and then he later takes over Ash's. I keep saying Ash. He takes over Fox's body. So yeah, Fox returns this episode, and we get Fox's backstory. Yeah, finally we get a bit of Fox's backstory. It's not that interesting, but we do get a bit of it. So yeah, Fox had his arm, well, surgically removed, we'll put in massive quotation marks. Basically, his arm was forcibly cut off and his gun arm attached, and he was forced to fight, essentially, which he didn't want to. And yeah, it would have been nicer if we had the backstory before, because here it kind of feels a little bit forced, because the whole thing of, Ash feeling her sense of just like the loss of her brother, and that her brother being taken over by Invictus. I think if we'd have known this backstory a little bit beforehand, it would have been better. But yeah, I mean, here it's literally told minutes before he gets killed off, so yeah, it does come across as feeling a bit forced, to be honest. But yeah, whatever. I mean, the way that I will say though, the way that Fox dies does make sense. Now, in the flashes, it shows that Gary, just kind of willingly shoots him, but obviously, in reality, Invictus takes over Fox's body, and Invictus also takes over Gary's cybernetic arm and scabs Fox in the chest with it, which he then dies from. So yeah, the only problem with that is that it was foreshadowed. So you were expecting it. I think it would have been better if it wasn't foreshadowed. Uh, in that way, in the very direct, unsubtle way. I think it would have been better if it was foreshadowed on, or Ash will lose everything kind of thing, or maybe even not at all. But because the thing is, it does lose a little bit of the impact of, I guess, its shock value, which is supposed to have, because Fox was a character, more of a comic relief character who, to be honest, I wasn't really bothered about at all. I didn't hate him or anything. It was just one of those characters who just kind of sat in the background and occasionally did a one-liner. So his death doesn't really have the same impact as Avocado's death did in season 1. So yeah, it just doesn't have the same impact. It doesn't have even the same impact that I guess Nightfall's death had at the end of season 2. So yeah, but it is still something that was well done. It was still well done, I will say. And yeah, also the thing that I like is Gary's reaction to it. Yeah, Gary's reaction to it. Gary smashes up the cookie machine, which I was quite happy about. He was fucking pissed after this, after being taken on, being forced to kill Fox. That was a really good moment, actually. It was played seriously. It wasn't played for laughs. Unfortunately, another fucking cookie joke managed to make its way into this episode. It wasn't not nearly as annoying as previous ones, but oh god, one of the bolos that are insane inside Bolo's head is in the shape of a cookie. Just like, oh, for God's sake, can we stop doing the cookie jokes? Please, it's just an irritant by this point. At least it wasn't. It was quick and over, and but God, the cookie jokes are not funny. I don't know if this is Olin Rogers who decided to do cookie jokes or what, but the cookie jokes aren't funny. I don't know a single person who finds the cookie jokes funny. Go, please, please, please stop doing them. Because it does get in the way of a really good episode. It does, honestly. And the fact is that we also get, the trust issues and that at the beginning of the episode and throughout most of the episode. Avocado doesn't trust Ash after coming back. Little Cato does. And Gary's kind of in the middle. Now, Avocado, it makes sense because, he's only known Ash for about 5 minutes. Whereas Gary and Little Cato have known him longer, and Little Cato has got the closest to her. So, yeah, it's kind of nice seeing a bit of a dynamic between the three of them, where Gary's kind of, in the middle, he's unsure, and Avocado is a lot more distrusting, and Little Cato's just like, no, we can trust her kind of thing. So yeah, it was also interesting to find that she was still on the Galaxy too when it left Bolo's mind. Yeah. Now, does this mean she'll break off from the team or not? I don't know, but she does seem to understand that Invictus did take over Gary and did take over Fox. As she does say this, although whether she's saying this because she believes it, or whether she's saying this just because she thinks it's a lie, I'm not sure. It's not make sense. But the final moments of this episode are her basically, hugging Fox's corpse. So yeah, not nice bit of imagery there for the end. So this is going to be pretty much a side thing because, Ash can be a serious threat if she does turn over to Invictus, and it's one of those things. It's like which way it'll go, because this could be the deciding factor in it. Because if they don't have Bolo, then if Bolo does actually die, then the only other hope they would have on defeating Invictus is Ash. So I've got a feeling either Ash or Bolo or both will probably die in the finale, which will probably be a battle against Invictus, more than likely. But yeah, we'll see. We will see how that goes. There are still a lot of kind of loose ends and that to tie up. But yeah, I am glad that they're doing this. Also, So I do like the fact because that as soon as Gary hears that Ash is back at the start of the episode, he goes running to go see her. So someone commented in a previous video that Gary was unacceptable because he didn't care about Fox or Ash, but he clearly does. But he just kind of has his priorities as well. You know, it is a hard situation, I guess. So, but I can see where people were coming from in that regard. But it shows that Gary does truly care, and he feels utterly shit after being forced, to kill Fox, even though he had no control over the situation. It still happened anyway. So, yeah. Overall, I can't really say a lot more. I mean, the plot for this episode, and that is basically just is just the massive lead up to basically Fox's death. Essentially, that is just basically the lead up, and also to get his backstory, done and over with. Now, will he come back? That's the thing, because Final Space has also got that thing of bringing back characters even though we see them die. Yeah. So, can Fox be brought back? Well, if the plot demands it, then absolutely. So, yeah, that is a problem. It's a problem Final Space has had since season 2. Basically, as soon as they retconned Avocado's death, then basically it's just like, yeah, they can always retcon something. They can say, oh, Ash has the power to bring him back or something like that. Or they can just say, oh no, it wasn't actually the real Fox. Or they can basically make any excuse they fancy to do it. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I think for it to stay as effective as it is, I do think Fox should actually stay dead. And and also make sense on basically, Ash slowly losing everything. I mean, she lost kind of her father figure with Clarence at the end of season 2, and she at the start she also lost her sister as well. So yeah, she's slowly losing everything bit by bit. So yeah, we'll see. We'll see how this goes. But overall, it is shaping up to be a really good. In terms of having the shake up and the dynamic, this one does make it going one way or the other. So yeah, I can see it going both ways, and I can see her kind of flip flop between Invictus and that, because it the more she loses and that, the more easy it is for her to actually join Invictus, because what else does she have left, to be fighting for? So yeah, but overall, yeah, I did enjoy this episode. It is quite a good looking episode as well. I think it has a nice sort of dark, sort of moody kind of atmosphere as well, and particularly some of the twisted grins as well that the Invictus possessed Fox gives. I did quite like as well. So yeah, overall, I did enjoy this one. I mean, I've said the same about basically every episode this season so far, but season 3 probably will be my favourite. It probably will be. So far, it hasn't really had a down spiral, like seasons 1 and 2 had, and it just shows, this season, this is Olin Rogers' season. He said so himself, because basically he didn't have, the massive studio interference and that they had previously. So, yeah, and, it works a lot better as a result. Who fucking knew? But that's it for this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.